Hello Internet, in this video I'll show you how to make this authentic looking Roman cross similar to the one Jesus was crucified on some 2,000 years ago. If this interests you, keep watching. Welcome to Scott's Garage. Welcome literally to my garage. If you like garage time and working on do-it-yourself projects, then Scott's Garage is a place for you. Welcome to my channel. Okay, before I show you the detail of how I made this cross, I should tell you the purpose of this specific cross and then my objectives in making it. First of all, this cross will be used at our Good Friday service, which is this Friday. This is Holy Week, and it's meant to be a freestanding cross that will be used in the worship area, the altar area. So this could be used in a gymnasium or a stage, and it's almost to scale. This is about 70% of the size of the crosses in Jesus' day, just based on research that I've done. And I wanted to be authentic, so the wood that's used is cedar. It's not solid cedar. The reason was this price. The price of lumber today was simply too expensive. Cedar was a type of wood, though, that is a possibility for the crosses. Not common in Israel, but common in Lebanon. And the Romans were very industrious. They made a lot of crosses. They engineered things and they massively produced things. The Roman government in Jesus' day, it just thought that they crucified thousands, and some say hundreds of thousands of people. In fact, when Jerusalem was ransacked in 70 AD, they ran out of crosses. So many people were crucified. Now, there were four typical types of crosses in the Roman Empire. One was simply a vertical stake in the ground, and they would impale a person on there. A second common type of cross was the cross like this without the upper part. So it was simply a giant T in the ground. And a third type of cross was in the shape of an X, and the Romans had a special name for that. But the most common is this shape, and it's basically two pieces. So the vertical column is one piece. It's not it's not three pieces here, but one piece here. They intersect, and I'll show you how I did that. And then the cross beam. And this was called the crux commissa, and it's also known as the Latin cross. And I'm confident this is the type of cross that Jesus died on for a couple of reasons. One is that they did nail a notice above Jesus' head, and so this type of cross would allow that. And also, this symbol has been a symbol of Christianity early on. And most people don't realize this, but the first symbols of this cross were not made by Christians, but rather those poking fun of Christians. And we have graffiti that dates back, they think, 80 years after the birth of Christ. And so it shows stick figures, but this type of cross. And again, they were making fun of Christians. So that's why I chose this cross. And this also is practical. Since it is hollow, it's not as heavy. If you make it out of solid wood, a problem is that because it's not anchored in the ground, if it tipped over, really a solid cross made out of oak or pine or even cedar, it could hurt somebody if it fell over. This is not going to fall over, but with it being hollow, it's just a safer way to go. As I said before, I purposely wanted this to look rough. So I left things like this on there, and I purposely made it rough. As you'll see, I used a grinder with a 60 grit disc on it and made it rougher than the wood actually was. And as you see too, I have authentic looking spikes in here, not just nails that you buy at Ace Hardware. And I'll put a link of all this stuff below. Also, you'll notice there's here's a worm mark that was in the wood. These imperfections. And again, do that by design. We can make crosses look perfect and, sanded down and varnished out of pure oak and things like that. And that's fine. But I wanted this cross again to be a little more authentic. Now let me show you how I made it. Okay, so I have 6 1/2 inch by 6 inch by 8 foot cedar boards. And the first thing I'm going to do is take 2 of them and cut them at 48 inches or cutting them in half. Okay, even though the boards are 6 inches wide, I've set the fence to 5 inches. I'm going to cut half the boards 5 inches wide. And the reason is that original crosses I don't think were perfectly square. More than likely they were 8 inches by 6 inches, or just looking at the standard size of a log. I'm guessing there. But anyway, this is not going to be 6 by 6. This cross, the beams will be 5 by 6. Now, what I'm going to do now, and I got this from another YouTuber, this is not an original idea, is I got some heavy-duty 3M tape, and I am going to double it on one end. The sticky side is up. And I'm going to basically put this on there about halfway on the tape. So, press it in place. I'm going to take this one and likewise just put it nice and close. Stuck on the tape. I have some extra Gorilla Glue, wood glue, and also a Tight Bond wood glue. I also have my little nailer here, and I just have some really short brad nails. And so the process will be, and you'll see this probably on a time lapse, is that I put more pieces of tape along all the way. So then I'm going to glue it, I'm going to flip it up, I'm going to shoot some brads in there, glue it, flip it up, shoot some brads in there until it forms basically, all 4 sides. Okay, I want to show you what I come up with for the base, what's going to hold the cross. It will be sitting on a floor in a church. I don't want it to fall over, it has to be stable. Quite often with any project I work on, there's a portion of it that I have to improvise, and that's what this is. But I think it's going to work quite well. First of all, I just had some an old 2x4, and I cut it into equal lengths. That's approximately, I don't know, it's probably about 20 inches or so. So these are all the same. And I used my table saw, and I cut off just about 1/8 of an inch. This is a 2x4, just a little bit off of that. And it now fits perfectly. Well, this is the cross member, but the upright member will be the same. And it fits in there perfectly. And so if you can imagine, the cross is going to come down onto this. Now, as far as the base itself, I had some scrap 2x3, so these are 2x4s with it cut down a little bit. They're simply 2x3s. I just had this scrap laying around. This is about 28 inches, so 14 inches center, and I'm basically going to sandwich it. So this will be like that, and like so, center it. Now what I'll do is glue, and then I'll run some wood screws through here so it's nice and tight. And then likewise, I cut these. These are 11 inches approximately, and I'll be putting some wood screws in on each side there. And I'll see how that does. I don't want it to tip or anything, but my guess is I'll have to add some weight, add some bricks here, and I'll probably put a gunny sack on the very top of it so it kind of looks like ground, if you will. And I think this will work really well for a base. Okay, everything is dried. I took the tape off and that. It's not perfect though. There's a gap here. This is the first time I've ever done this. The 45-degree angles, I don't know if they weren't cut it precisely or what, but there's a little gap. So I'm going to use some Gorilla wood filler, and it's just a natural finish. It's hard to find the exact shade, but I think this will work just fine in my application. Okay, here's what I came up with for the end caps. I don't want a hollow look for these beams. I want them to look authentic. So I used some of the spare cedar, the cutoffs, the 10 inches, but I formed these, and basically I'm gonna glue them on right there. And how I made these was I used my router bit 45. Then I used my grinder and kind of rounded it off. And I'm going to use the grinder at the very end here too, I believe. But I'm going to use the Gorilla wood glue and glue these on. And then once it's dry, I'll be using that grinder too, just to kind of smooth things out, make it actually roughen it up. That's the whole purpose, is to make it look authentic. I think that'll work just fine. Okay, now it's time to measure accurately where I want to cut the beams. So I'm going to do what I believe is called a half lap. So you can see I've already marked it out here, and I'll show you exactly how I got these measurements. But this section here is going to be cut out of the cross beam. I think it's called the transom. And I marked the correct area here on the upright piece. And this will be cut out here. I'll use my table saw for both. Now, here's how I got the measurement. The transom ended up being exactly 47 inches wide. I thought it was going to be 48, but it ended up being 47 for whatever reason. And so I took half of that, so 23.5 inches, I believe. But that's the exact center point. I double-checked on each side. Then I use a digital caliper. This is really inexpensive, Harbor Freight tools. And basically, got the exact width. So this is 5.43 inches across. And then basically make sure that that's the exact measurement here. That's why I got these lines, marked it along there. So center point, it's going to be accurate here. And then you want to cut exactly halfway through. So that's where this digital caliper works beautifully. So keep in mind again that it's not a square beam. So you take that measurement, 4.42 divided by 2, so 2.21. And I just simply slid this until I got 2.21. It's kind of hard to do it just with one hand here. But that's the measurement I got here, so it's very accurate, 2.21. And that's also the measurement I raised the saw blade up to that exact point, so I know that that's precise. And likewise, I'm cutting 2.21 inches this way, and I'll use the exact same height of the table saw. And with that, I am confident that I'll go back and forth and just cut this with the table saw. It'll take a little bit of time, but then the two pieces should fit together. Okay, it's time now to put everything together. So here's the gunny sack or burlap that I purchased. It was like $3 at Joann's Fabric. I just cut a hole in the center. It's kind of an X. It should fit this. I'm just going to put it over the top. Okay, I have the transom in front of me, and I have these spikes. You can see the affiliation link below. They're somewhat pricey. They come in a pack of 6, and these are 6-inch spikes, but they're rather authentic. Just the look of them. We know that there was wrought iron during the time of Jesus, spikes that went through his hand and feet. So I picture them to be approximately this size, maybe a little bit bigger, but about the right size. And I already pre-measured and I already drilled into the cedar. I don't want to break anything with the cedar. So I just a drill bit was just about slightly bigger than the tip of this. And I'm just going to pound these in. I have it kind of at an angle, but I think I'm going to kind of straighten it up here as we go. And we'll get those in place. It's just a slight angle. Okay, next we're gonna attach the transom to the vertical beam, and because it's hollow inside, they're only going to touch really in 4 places here. I'm going to put just a dot of hot glue gun, or hot glue from the hot glue gun. This is Gorilla hot glue gun. It's very strong. I've got to be careful. I don't want anything to ooze out, but I'm just going to put 4 drops there. It'll just be enough to kind of hold it in place. We will be tying it in place, but this will just be a way to make sure that it stays. Okay, next I'm going to add the rope. So this is nothing fancy, it's just a basic rope made out of natural material. I got this at Ace Hardware, so it was very inexpensive. And how I'm going to do this is kind of collar it equally. Like so. I'll pull tight. It's going to form an X like that. And pull back and tie it in the back. Okay, so here it is in the back. Yeah, I've never done this before, so I'm just kind of figuring this out on the spot.
Definitely cinches it up. And let's tie a knot here.
And I'll cut the rope and I just take a little torch and just kind of burn the ends here. I think that's good enough. I don't think I need to burn anything. Okay, next I'm going to add the crown of thorns. I did order this on Amazon. It's authentic. I wish I had more thorns on it, but it's the right size. You can see my affiliate link in the description below. And if I position this correctly, it should fit over the top here. And I position it a little bit lower because that's approximately where Jesus' head would be. Okay, last thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pre-drill a hole. I know about where I want it right there, and I'm going to pre-drill it, and it's going to be for this little spike, and this is just a masonry spike. You can buy it at any hardware store, and I'll explain more what this is for. It'll be to attach a notice that we know that there was a notice placed above Jesus' cross, and I'll explain more about that later. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. Okay, finally here, I ordered some papyrus from Amazon. I got it here in one day. So papyrus made in Egypt, 20 sheets. I'll put the affiliate link below if you want to order this. And I was able to print on my laser printer, and so it turned out pretty well. Now, we don't know what the sign was made of that was posted on the original cross of Jesus. Papyrus, though, was common in Israel in Jesus' day, so this ought to be more authentic. And I'm going to use the spike and the pre-drilled hole up here and put it in place. Okay, we're told in the Bible in 4 different locations, the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that a notice was put above Jesus. And it was Pontius Pilate that ordered this, and it basically says Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. But it was written in 3 languages. The top language is Greek. The middle language is Roman, which is Latin, which is what the Romans spoke. The bottom one is written in Hebrew. I'm not a linguist, but I can read these. So if you want to know what the Greek sounds like, IESUS ha Nazaraios ha Basilius King ton Iudaion. So Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. In Latin, IESUS Nazarenus Rex IOUDAEORM. And by the way, the abbreviation that's often used on the cross is INRI, and that's just the acrostic for the notice, but more likely it was spelled out like I have it here. And then Hebrew goes from right to left. Jesus is Yeshua, same root as Joshua. Ha Nazari from Nazareth, Hamalach, King. He Hadarim of the Jews. So Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. I will put this in the exact text in the description below. If you're making one of these, you can just copy and paste and print it if that would be helpful to you. Okay, finally, as we're wrapping up this video, you may want to know what the dimensions are exactly. I mentioned before, this is about 70% scale. So what does that mean? Well, from the bottom to the top is 86 inches. It's as high as I can reach. Now, as far as the transom, the cross member here, it's 47 inches from tip to tip. And from this point to the exact center is 23.5 inches. Likewise, it's 23.5 inches from this point to the very top. I wanted this to be symmetrical. And I believe it's about 62 inches from the base to this point. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, I hope you enjoyed this video. I am a Christian. I believe that Jesus' death on the cross 2,000 years ago was an atoning death, meaning that Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice. He sacrificed his perfect life on the cross in order to atone for or pay for the sins of the entire world. And I believe that through faith in what Jesus did for us, paying for our sins, there is forgiveness of our sins and everlasting life with him. And the best news is that Jesus' death is not the end of the story. It's life. He came back to life after 3 days. If you got any value at all from this video, please give me a like. It costs you nothing, but it's a great value to me. And as usual, have a great day.